Goeiedag. Les in toveren gaat vandaag over vrede en muziek. En draait om een gesprek met Fantuzzi dat we gisteren hadden op Schiphol. Maar het belangrijkste is toch wel dat het vandaag 21 juni de World Peace and Prayer Day is. Maar niet alleen dat. Het is een hele belangrijke dag, want het is de summer solstice. Het einde van de lente en het begin van de zomer. Maar het is ook de dag dat er in Afrika een zonsverduistering is. Een eclipse, een total eclipse of the sun. Maar 21 juni is ook uitgeroepen tot World Peace and Prayer Day. Dus wat dat betreft, we gaan eens kijken. Hier met wat beelden van de zon die opkomt over de haven van Amsterdam.
Ja, beste mensen, ik zit hier naast Fantuzzi en ik probeer te drummen, maar ik ben niet de drummingmaster. That's Fantuzzi. Fantuzzi, do a little bit, just to show that I'm... Oké, we praten hier met Fantuzzi. Fantuzzi komt uit Amerika, maar eigenlijk is het een wereldburger. En hij is een van de mensen die altijd de festivals van Ruig hoort. En dus ook deze zomer komt opvrolijken als drummingmaster, als entertainer, als de ziel van het feest. Als de man die...
Global Troubadour.
De Global Troubadour die de I am that I am, de spiritualiteit en de muziek bij elkaar brengt. Fantuzzi, let's talk a little bit about... what you're going to do this week, because you're going to Africa.
I'm headed to Zimbabwe, where we will have the second World Rainbow Gathering, blessed by the total eclipse of the sun, Africa. And it is a most auspicious time because the alignments of the planets, in fact the entire galaxy, is aligned like never before. So
the summer solstice is also the eclipse. Yes. And in Africa, the light will go out for a few minutes, yeah?
Not only will the moon go in front of the sun and we get to see its haze, but as I said, we stand to have a consciousness woken up like never before.
You are one of the people who has been traveling now for 30 years all over the world as a troubadour, as a drumming master, as a teacher, as a yogi. A few of the things that I remember where you have been at rainbow gatherings, at Burning Man's.
That's right. Actually, the first rainbow gathering, 1971, I came to after... actually, rainbow gathering was 1972, the first one, but... I was here in Amsterdam, actually, in 71 with the Rainbow Gypsies. And then we traveled around the world to India and made it to the Rainbow Gathering. And now an evolution has come up. A very interesting thing with Burning Man.
Yeah. Burning Man is in the States. It's in the desert. It started out as some idiots trying to do explosions and crazy things. And that became... like a very fashionable thing, and now hundreds of thousands of people gather together in the desert to burn some symbol of technology, a symbol of modern world, and thereby make themselves free from this, eh?
Something like that. There's a gentleman whose old lady walked out on him, and he decided to make an effigy and burn it on the beach. And he invited a couple hundred people, and the party was so damn good, it kept growing and growing and growing. And we're not nearly 100,000. We're more like 20,000, but it's a lot of people from all over the world show up. And it's more like a catharsis, but it's also like an artistic jam. So everybody comes with their creativity and makes these theme parks that are like mini Disneylands all camped together. It's quite an exquisite experience.
Yeah. Well, what we see there, people half naked, painted, dancing, and then there's this big fire at night. I hope we can find some footage there. But for you, that's like daily routine because you go from one festival to another.
Right now, I'm headed not only to the World Rainbow Gathering #2, but also to Soul Lips, which is going to be a rave type of an event, a spiritual, conscious rave, happening in Zambia, which will, be close enough for me to be able to visit both events.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you do is that you sing, and we've seen you at many Cannabis Cup event in Amsterdam, at the events like the Ruigoord, when they were called Land Jewel, then become Sand Jewel, now they're Water Jewel. They go with the types, and now it's Dorpsjewel. But what is your original thing? Are you a musician or a poet or all of...
I don't know what I am. I'm discovering what I am as I live. And everybody says, oh, that drummer guy, or, oh, aren't you an MC, or aren't you this or that or that or this? Really, it's the Renaissance time, and all of us are a little bit of everything,
Fantuzzi. Where does your name come from, Fantuzzi?
I'm Luis Nelson Fantuzzi Jr., born to 2 Puerto Rican parents in Spanish Harlem, New York City. So I guess the name came from Puerto Rico, but originally it's an Italian name, Fantuzzi, Fantuzzi.
It sounds like fantasy.
It is a little bit like that. I tried to get a meaning out of all names, and the meaning that comes to me is get out of your own way. It's time to get out of your own way, because our own head trips is what keeps us from experiencing life at an amazing level.
But one of the things that amazes me, that one of the trips you have, by the way,
my plane!
Well, that one is off, but you're still wearing Rasta hair. Are you a Rasta or Rastafarian?
Well, you could call these Jatas if you're in India. And then Jamaica, they call them Rasta. I am a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I feel a strong kinship with the tradition of Rasta.
Yeah. Does that mean like that the Ethiopian roots of the Rasta movement appeal to you?
A lot of the tradition of Rasta not only appeals to me, but has been part of my way of thinking and living for decades. So there I feel a kinship, but I feel just as much, and if not maybe even stronger, a kinship with the sadhu trip. That in India, the holy men wear dreaded hair like this, and it's called a jata. It's a holy also. And I've been going there since 1971, and as you know, I was just at the Kumbh Mela there, and the trip with the hair like this, I feel it as strong with the sadhu trip as I do with the Rasta.
Do you feel? We were both actually at the Kumbh Mela. They say 10 million, 20, 30 million people, maybe 70 million people over the period of a month or so. Lots of people. What I felt is that I felt like one little drop of water in the ocean. And I could feel the ocean swell at times because there was this holy dip, and you took a holy dip. So that I had at the same time the feeling as being one myself and part of this massive ocean of people.
I have been to 5 Kumbh Melas. That was my 5th one. And I hope to be there again 12 years from now. The most important thing is to remember.
Here we go again with the planes.
I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. So, it's a good experience that you had there. Yeah. That we are nothing, yet we are everything. And the Kumbh Mela for me is a wonderful place to go and recharge my batteries, to purify and connect with spirit.
I got a very strong feeling about Hinduism there, about the basic roots of that belief, the connectedness of the people, and also that these Indians, with all their strange gods, I mean, from a distance it looks as if they have Shivas, and but in the end there were 20 million people there taking a dip, doing the same thing.
That's the rainbow, you know. We are all like different rays of the sun, and we're all one. It's beautiful like that. In India, you really get a good strong feeling of that. There's so many different variety, yet everyone is one. Like Hinduism itself has so many different parts of it, but it's one religion, you know.
And they were one. I wrote a poem talking about the rivers of water and the rivers of the feet, and in fact the rivers of the eternal souls coming together, and it was massive. It was massive for me too. My feet were hurting. Yours too?
No, I didn't feel the feet hurting. Somehow the Garuda, the bird, kept showing up and giving me a ride, because the place, as you know, was so spread out. It wasn't that big before, by the way. I think it's doubled in size.
It was called the Mahakumbh Mela, the 144th Kumbh Mela, and I was amazed. I was at one of the holy dips. I think the second important date. All these dips, the days that people go in the water are based upon the stars and auspicious dates and stuff like that. But I was there on the second massive dip, and I was, lucky enough to be on the press tower, so I could overlook the whole thing a little bit.
Oh my God, you must have some great footage then.
Yeah, I've got great footage, but then I saw this procession of the sadhus and the gurus, and in front of them were the nagas, the black guys. Huh?
Yeah.
They don't even have hair.
The nagas, no, the ones that don't have hair are the new initiates. That's what no hair means. The nagas usually do have hair, no clothes, and they're covered in ashes. But becoming a naga, you get initiated and you shave it all off.
Anyway, so there was this group, hundreds and hundreds, and actually there were more groups, and they were the first to go to the water. And that was like, when I saw that, I felt like the black tongue of the serpent, and the serpent were the 20 million people there, and then the black tongue of the serpent came out and licked the holy water at the auspicious place of the Sangam.
That must have been Ananda Akara. Ananda Akara is one of the oldest, strongest, and biggest groups of nagas, of sadhus. And they usually go first. That's the most auspicious time. By the way, what happens is that all the planets line up, and then an energy gets fixed, so that if you're at this particular moment, at this particular time, you get an extra charge in the body, in the spirit, the soul.
So in fact, the people in Africa are going to have a similar experience at this solstice moment.
Yeah, the eclipse of the sun is a very auspicious thing as well. And those, it's like what you're capable of receiving is what you get. Because you could be by a very, very holy person, and you could be receiving a major, major blessing, but you could not know about it if you're not open and not conscious. So I pray that everybody out there all over the place join us, because we're calling it a World Peace and Prayer Day, June 21st, 2001. And what we're doing is we're spreading love all across the whole planet, and spreading peace, and lifting up the vibrations of the whole planet in this way.
Now, the interesting thing I see in you is that when I hear you drumming, and of course I've been drumming a little bit, and lots of people drum a little bit, but we all drum, say, the basic rhythm. And then you come around and first you play with us, and then you start bringing in the counterbeat. And you bring in a melody. But basically you go against the stream there. You go against what the rest does. and it feels like that's your life. You're always a little bit offbeat, and thereby adding the pepper to life.
There we go, the spice, la salsa, como decimos en Puerto Rico. My family's from Puerto Rico. Maybe I got it from the blood, maybe I got it from the stars, but we all got it, and we're all that little piece of puzzle, and it's a blessing to be able to add. And it's not really the offbeat. I mean, you could call it the offbeat, and you could call it the counter beat or counter rhythms, but it's you know, it's a little bit of that spice, that cayenne pepper, and that's what makes everything beautiful, the variety, and you know, in our wonderful circle of friends.
You're one of the truly global singers, and you dance like you're still 20. But how does your life look from here? You're nearly 50. Age catches up with you. How do you see your life? Are you going to live in India sometime?
I've thought many times that when I get old and I'm ready to drop this body, what a perfect place to drop your body in India, because there's not the hysteria attached to it. Actually, it's a beautiful act. It's accepted. It's not like, oh, he's going to die. It's, you know, the drama is not like there. So I would like to let go of this body in an environment like that. But right now, I don't really feel the same way. I have no attachment to where I dropped the body. And while I have it and while we have it, we should do everything we can to be as agile, as healthy, so that we can really totally live. If we're going to live, we might as well live fully, you know? And so, you know, I have no idea. I think to myself, I was born and raised in Spanish Harlem, and a lot of my friends are dead, you know? And
gang wars and crime.
Gangs, and also drugs, and if not, they're in jail or whatever. And the thing, I thought, you know, I'd be dead before I was 21. When I was a young man, I thought I'd be gone by that time. And here I am, 49, about to hit 50, and I have no idea how long I'm going to be here, but as long as I'm here, I'm going to do my best to stay healthy and live every day like if it was my last, because the snake medicine that I had told me to do that. I was bit by a rattlesnake, and it said, get out of your own way and live every day as if it was your last.
One of the things that also amazes me, that you're a little bit out, well, actually, apart from the planes flying here, you're a little bit out of the material world. Now, it seems that materialism has peaked out, you know, the dot-com bubble has collapsed. The stock markets are going down. People are getting worried about what they have and stuff like that. Now, you never were too much worried about material things. Is that where we're going as a world? A new wave of spiritual and nature and togetherness?
I feel that that's where we're going. But the interesting thing is that we're going everywhere simultaneously. In other words, I feel that there's also a lot of people attached to materialism and getting more and more attached. Though some of them that are keeping their eyes open are seeing as they're losing a hold of some of their stuff, they get freed up. They realize, well, maybe this is a message, you know? So I give thanks for the life I've chosen, but, you know, sometimes I wish I had a little piece of land somewhere that I could say, hey, I'm going to plant my little garden over there and watch the grandchildren. And
you have grandchildren?
I don't have grandchildren. I have 3 children, and God bless them. They're far from making kids at this moment, but they're definitely capable.
You didn't tell them how to do it.
They're 19, 23, and 25, and these 3 children are very intelligent, and they're doing service for the world, and they're not rushing to become mothers and fathers, and I think that's an important and an intelligent decision. It's a very powerful thing to be a mother or a father, and so it was best to be as ready as you possibly can. And the material thing, getting back to that, is like Bob Dylan said, if you don't have anything, you got...
Pray with me for... You're good at praying.
Okay, let me invoke some spirit vibes. Thank you, Great Spirit, for the love that you give us. Allow us to serve you and have outrageous fun as we spread beauty and love and healing and be healed along the way through our life. Peace, peace, peace.
Amen.
Son of a gun. The job is never done. Shiva, como chango. Shiva.
Shiva, 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 Shiva,
Shiva, Shiva, Shiva, Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. Shango, 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 Shango. Shiva como Shakti, Shakti como Shango. Ay, qué rico y ay, qué bueno.
Hey, Fantuzzi!
Thank you.
Bonise my lord, na my lord. Bonise my lord, na my lord. Bonise my lord, na my lord. Bonise my lord. 500 years of survival, 500 years of struggle. We give thanks to the Native Americans for holding on to the sacred ways. Now, my Lord, Bonise my Lord. Now, my Lord, Bonise my Lord. The end of colonization is the beginning of cooperation. The end of manipulation is the beginning of emancipation.